think it's too much.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Zach Golden, and if you haven't been watching the show, I suggest you go back a few episodes to Secrets of the Bounty. We've been on a series the last month watching the Star Wars fan film series Secrets. We started with Secrets of the Bounty, then Secret of the Trials, and now we're in a mini series of sorts where we're going through all the episodes of Secrets of the Temple. I'm told that there are going to be 6 episodes encompassing this series that they'll be releasing every Wednesday, so that's pretty wild. Right now, we are on Chapter 2, and I'm really looking forward to it. So far, it's been a really fun series. Make sure you hit like and subscribe as usual. Check out my Patreon page where you can get exclusive content such as my deep dive videos where I really get into the nooks and crannies of the short films that I watch, and I sort of break them down and provide insight and suggestions. Consider it sort of my Star Wars fan film masterclass. So those are really fun. And the rates on Patreon are very low as like $1 a month, and you get really cool merchandise the higher the tier you go. So really worth the try. Also, if you're interested in checking out my Star Wars fan film, it's Star Wars The Foretelling. You can find that on my channel here. If you go to like my most popular, it'll be one of the first things that pops up. And it is the first live action debut of Cal Kestis. So check it out. It's cool. Other than that, that's all I've got for you guys. Let's dive into Chapter 2, Secrets of the Temple, the Forgotten. All right. Here we go. I'm going to eat lunch while I'm at it.
Where are the other younglings? But the others, they didn't make it.
It's blank.
Hey, Sadnik, bring her in.
Help me find him, and I'll guarantee a better life for you and your friends.
We'll base here until we find evidence nearby. Split up. Report what you see.
Do you remember when Colt pranked Master Asuna?
Yes, she was not happy with him and Liam.
Then Colt tried to blame me.
He failed at that. Just to think that was before the war started.
It was simpler back then.
It was simpler back home.
In the Thal.
We have to go.
Where? Into hiding. We've been exposed.
The locals discovered a death of their own. The young Mando has placed a bounty on all of our heads, for he believes it was one of us that killed the local.
The gangster exposed us. To get to me. He knows I'm with all of you. I must leave before you're all in danger.
Hey, wait.
That map marks locations of valuable Jedi relics, which I believe is why the Force called us here.
The temple was destroyed centuries ago, and now it's a ruin, just like everything else here. But with all the clues we found, we could restore the Jedi Order there. Is that what you wanted?
Hear me. Alec, hear me.
Where are you?
It's gonna be okay.
That guy looks just
There
like
are
Tamara
more
Morrison.
survivors in the lower levels.
No. Hey,
Rock the boat!
run! Stay behind me. Hear me, Alec. Get back.
Master! No!
Everything will be okay, Colt, as long as we stay together. Where's Master Osvorce? And Alec?
Do it.
He lives.
Master Sano!
I still don't believe it.
I felt his presence growing day by day since Colt's trials.
But Colt didn't recognize him.
The dark side consumed Alec's identity.
What are we going to do?
Don't let this information be the center of your worries. Keep your concentration here at the moment where it belongs. Meet me at the rendezvous point on Hade's map, in the hidden corridor of Bay Tundra. Stay hidden and look out for each other until I return.
Nice.
We meet again, Sibcor.
What are you supposed to be?
I'm surprised you don't remember.
No! Tis but a scratch.
I thought you were looking for Alec.
Did y'all enjoy listening to my mouth noises? Mostly dead.
The colonized ones infiltrating them via spies and networks, and then spreading it from there onward to the more primitive planets. You, on the other hand, you want bravery. Regardless. They all admire you, 12th brother. When my scout troopers assisted you in framing the Jedi, little did I know that you had the courage to see it through. Well done. How did you do it? Huh? Oh, come on, give me the details.
Commanding with the locals is a waste of my time.
Surely you understand how carefully the rest must be played out. I know you Inquisitors use any means necessary, but any unnecessary aggression could be seen as a bad mark against the Empire, and that...
Aggression brings order. Aggression draws them out. You know nothing of the ways of the Jedi. Do not question my methods.
Well, brother! Colonel Layson is correct. This must be played out carefully. You may continue to use any means necessary to bring order, not chaos. If unnecessary violence and aggression causes panic with the locals, it will only create further rebellion. Any further unassigned terminations, and you will answer to your lord.
Yes, General Portage.
Very nice. Post-credit scene, maybe? Nope. Great job, guys. This was another fun installment of this series, and I want to just dive right into it. It looks like we have a lot of the same cast and crew from what I could gather in the credits. So, good job, Lachlan. I think this one is better than last week's, but only by a little bit. And I want to dive into the highs and lows and just do a quick review before I get into the rating. So I think a lot of the things that worked for them in this episode, the choreography, I think the choreography in this series has been a pretty good. I think like having good lightsaber choreography or just good fight scenes in general is a great way to kind of put yourself ahead of a lot of the competition. And I think the choreography in this was definitely above average. I also enjoyed the character depth. There's great character moments, things that really took me deeper into my understanding of who these people are and what they want. I thought the cinematography was even improved in some areas. And I just love how the stakes are increasing. There's a part of me that kind of wishes that the stakes were kind of established in the first chapter right off the bat. But in this second chapter, now it's like, okay, we're getting this bigger picture of who all these characters want and what the conflict is. I just feel like now it just feels very compelling now. And I'm really having a good time with it. Like Satno, he wants to rebuild the Jedi Order. The 12th brother wants revenge for being left behind during Operation Nightfall. Cole and Hade, I believe that's the Twi'lek chick, they want to start over, leave the planet, and just kind of build a life for themselves. And the Jedi on this planet. They're fully exposed and they're being hunted. The Empire's leash on the Inquisitors conflicts with the 12th Brother's agenda. So he wants revenge, but the Empire's like, hey, you can't be going around killing people because that's just bad rap that we don't need. So calm down or we're going to bring Vader to you. And that's going to keep him from, getting what he wants faster, right? Like he wants revenge as soon as possible. And this conflict with the Empire is gonna be an obstacle for him that he has to overcome. Sibcor, he wants the bounty. I think I'm a little confused because a couple episodes back, he kind of had that choice between the lightsaber and the bag of money, and he throws away the bag of money. But now it seems like he's backtracked a bit. So maybe that's kind of an inner conflict going on where he's just done with the Jedi, but he loves money. And at the same time, he wants to be this good person. So there's kind of like this inner conflict thing going on. But now it kind of seems like they're setting up for him to be sort of a reluctant hero now that he's kind of brought into the fold. And if anything, that's going to put a target on his back now that he's hanging out with these fugitives. But amidst all of that, there's these overlining things that we are kind of aware of as audiences, is that we've got this Mace Windu Easter egg that still hasn't been fulfilled yet, and I'm really hoping that amounts to something later, because we don't really get a whole lot of Mace Windu in fan films. There's a couple out there, most of them not that great, but I think this could be cool. If Mace Windu is somewhere on that planet in this hidden fortress and he's trying to rebuild things, that would be really cool if they find the temple that Satno is referring to rebuild the Jedi, and Mace Windu is there, and that could be interesting. But amidst all of this, we all know that the Jedi Order isn't rebuilt until Luke shows up, right? So we have the potential for a quite tragic ending. So really compelling stuff going on different ends, with different characters. And that's just so great to see, because it tells me that I don't have to think too much. I don't have to worry that things aren't going to be resolved. I can trust in the director and in the writing and in the vision. And that's such a great feeling that you don't often get in Star Wars fan films. So great story, great vision. The direction is certainly there. But that said, I do think that some things that are really hurting them in this series, the performances, I think I mean, you can't really ask the world from people, especially if this isn't like their job, like I don't get the feeling that these people act regularly. Like, it certainly feels like this is a community of friends who really like Star Wars. So I can't really beg a fantastic performance out of them. But at the same time, it is really difficult to get into it when some of the performances are just way off, and it kind of yanks you out and hurts the overall experience. I also think the sound design is just all over the place. I mean, I can't even imagine how imbalanced the waveforms are in post. I think like between the ADR and the 12th Brother speaking under the helmet, it's just so night and day. Like, when the audio is on location and when it's in a studio, or if it's like recorded on site and he's right up close to the mic. For me, I can just hear the difference, and your goal is that nobody notices, right? It can't sound like it's ADR. It can't sound like it's recorded in a studio. It all has to feel cohesive and fluid, and you really want a balanced waveform in your shorts. And I think that's really, this is really lacking in this series. I also felt like some of the blocking, where the cinematography was improved, the blocking hasn't really changed. I think if the cinematographer really considered where the actors are, where the set pieces are, what he can accomplish within the mise en scène, it would really go hand in hand with what the camera is putting together, right? Like, you can point a camera and make that look good all day, but if your actors and sets aren't precisely coordinated, it could ruin your shot. And there were a couple of times where I just felt like the blocking wasn't there, because eyes are so important. Anytime you can show someone eyes or a face, or something even resembling a face, like, you want that because that's going to be something that the audiences are looking for. And there were a couple of times, like especially at the ruins, where I didn't feel like blocking was a high priority and they were just looking for simple coverage. But beyond that, some other things that were just little nitpicks were the soundtrack. I've already talked about that in previous episodes. And the dialogue was pretty rough in this episode as well. Just felt very unnatural. I understand that Star Wars has a certain energy to their dialogue. It's wooden, but it's with a purpose. It wears its heart on its sleeve. And in this one, it's wooden, but that's just it. Like, it doesn't feel very sincere in the dialogue. It doesn't feel genuine. And a lot of that has to do with the performance side. But I would say most of it has to do with the writing. You could have a really bad actor, but you can write dialogue specifically for that actor to help them with their performance if need be. When I was writing the foretelling, I knew that my actor, Wesley Hamilton, who plays Cal Kestis, he's a very new actor. He's very good. He's a very good actor. But he was still very new. He's still learning the ropes, and I had to keep that in mind when writing the dialogue and when I'm directing him on location, because I knew he wasn't going to have it all figured out. He's still very new. There are definitely performance aspects of the foretelling that I wished were beefed up a notch, but I still had to consider his level of expertise when writing the foretelling, and as opposed to me just writing whatever I wanted and expecting him to meet me there. I kind of have to meet him where he is, right? And then when we're on set, I then can try to push him in the direction that I want him to be. So where most writers will simply write the dialogue and expect their actor to meet them there, I would argue that it is the writer's job to be aware of the actors and their skill set and try to meet them there. Because at that point, you're working with the performer and trying to pick out what they're good at the most. So that's a little nugget of wisdom for free. If you want to get my in-depth review of this film, go to my Patreon page, and I'm going to dive deep into all of these things, the highs and the lows, and what filmmakers can do to improve in situations like this. So check that out when you get the opportunity. Now, let's dive into the Star Wars factor. So quick review, if you haven't watched previous videos, I do what's called a Star Wars factor on fan films. And essentially what that means is I take a Star Wars film and I rate how Star Wars it is. And so within that, there are 3 pillars that make a good Star Wars-esque short. You need story as number 1, always. You need spectacle as a close second. And you need innovation as a third. It's really important that you get those 3 in that specific order, because if you don't, it's not going to feel Star Wars appropriate. It's not going to feel like something George Lucas would have put a stamp of approval on. And in anything that you do, you should have story as number 1. But with Star Wars, there's such a powerful reinforcement of that. Like, there should always be a sense of hope. Star Wars should always be for family. And Star Wars ultimately is about overcoming your inner darkness and the power of the love of family, right? So there are definitely things that make Star Wars what it is, and those three things have a lot to do with it. So that said, I want to give Chapter 2 of Secrets of the Temple a Star Wars factor of 8 out of 10. Much improved from last week and the week before. It just seems like these guys are slowly progressing towards a much more solid short every single week that I watch their stuff. I'm hoping that by the time we get to the finale, we'll be at like a 80, maybe even 90% Rotten Meiloorun score. And I'm thinking once I reach the end, I could do a rating of the entire series. So that would be interesting. So that said, diving into the Rotten Meiloorun review, I'm thinking I'm going to give Chapter 2, The Forgotten, a Star Wars fan film, a Rotten Meiloorun score of 62%. Great short, guys. Always lots of fun. I think you guys get better and better with each week that I watch y'all's stuff. I think there's a lot that you can improve in post. It just takes a lot of time and effort. But ultimately, I think you guys are really improving. And I'm having a lot of fun watching these episodes. Looking forward to how this is going to flesh out within the next 3 chapters. You've got a lot to resolve in the next 3 episodes. So really looking forward to seeing how that pans out. Anyways, let me know in the comments if there's a fan film you guys want me to check out after this series. And again, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Check out my Star Wars fan film if you're interested. And as always, may the Force be with you.
I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, Zed.
No way. No way.